So my rich dad said, in the world of business, there's E's. And E's stand for employees. An employee, he says, you can always tell who they are by their core values. And what the employee, whether the president or the janitor of the company, will always say the same words. The words are, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them an employee, because their core values are security. The other one of the four is the S, or the small business owner or the self-employed. And again, their core values will cause them to use the same words, which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. S means they're also solo. They're generally one-person act, or they operate by themselves. On the right side of the quadrant are the B's. And what Rich Dad said the B stood for was big business, or like Bill Gates. Forbes defines big business as 500 employees or more. And their words are different. They say, I'm looking for a good system, a good network, and the smartest people I know to help run my business. So they're unlike the S. They don't want to run the company by themselves. They want smart people to run their companies for them. And then the fourth of the quadrant is the I, and I stands for investor. These are people who have money work hard for them. These people are people who have people work hard for them. And these are the people that work hard for the rich here. So early on in my life, it was my poor dad who always said to me, you know, Robert, go to school and so get a high-paying job. And so my poor dad's core value was to be an employee. He wanted job security, promotions, a steady paycheck, and all this. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, you know, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned, and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said, work hard, but my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was the difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you. When you look at a financial statement, let's say this is income, expense, asset, liability, okay? And as I explained in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, your house is not an asset. So basically is most people have a house they think as an asset, but every month it's costing them money through a thing called a mortgage payment. That's why they're broke. So what makes a person rich, like what makes me rich, is very simply I have assets such as businesses. I have the Rich Dad business. Every month, lots of money comes in. I also have real estate. I also have stocks and bonds, and I have commodities, such as I am a partner in oil companies, and every month the cash flows into me. So this is the model of a rich person. Whether I work or not, money comes in, okay? And that's what makes me rich. Most people, all they have is a mortgage payment, car payment, college loan payments and all that. That's a poor person, okay? So what makes the same thing that makes a rich person rich and what makes a well-designed business rich is that as a sophisticated investor, let's say this is a rich business, when I wrote the business plan for Rich Dad, Poor Dad, this company now, is that I had to design in assets. So one of the biggest assets Rich Dad has is we are a brand and we license our name. So all over the world, there's about 60 people who every month send me money. It was designed into the business plan. For example, with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, every month people like in Japan and China and Asia and Europe, every month they send me money. The second thing is every time I write a book, every month money comes in. When I design my board game, every month money comes in. And what else we have. When we have seminars, more money comes in. So every month, the business of Rich Dad gets richer and richer because we're constantly setting up more assets. Follow one course till you're successful. And so that's what I did in 1973. I signed up for my first real estate investment course. And I just did it and did it and did it. You know, I bought this one little $18,000 place. And I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again until the point where I understood it. And then I went into becoming an entrepreneur. And I did it, and I did it, and did it, and I'm still learning. And I'm still learning about real estate. And the reason, in 1966, I got into oil when I went to work for the Standard Oil Company. So today, I'm still focusing. I invest in oil and oil and oil, and I don't diversify. You know, it doesn't mean I don't lose. Sometimes I lose, sometimes I make mistakes and all this. But I just don't buy good as with all the bad. If you're going to be successful as an investor, you know, diversification is good for the average investor. If that's what you want to be, have a good life. But what I'd rather do is be able to know the good ones from the bad ones, the good investments from the bad investments, the good advisors from the bad advisors, and what's good for me and what's not good for you. Because what I do is not necessarily what's going to work for you, and vice versa here. So that's why I really think instead of diversification or diversifying, the new rules of money say follow one course until you're successful, and then keep doing it. Because once you find that way of being successful, you can do it again and again and again.
Hi, this video will continue playing in just a few seconds, but first I want to let you know about a special announcement from Robert Kiyosaki. Robert is running a special online Rich Dad Summit where you're going to discover 7 ways to create a sustainable, passive income for life so that you can work less, earn more, and finally escape the rat race. You'll be given the tools, strategies, tips, and blueprints that you need for making more money and setting up systems that let your money make more money. It's incredible, and the great news is that you can have full online access to this incredible life-changing system for just $1. Simply follow this link or write it down and type it in after watching this video. So that's www.richdad-summit.com.
I make a lot of money, but I give a lot. You know what I mean? It goes to biblical principle: the more you give, the more you receive. So when I meet somebody who's doesn't have any money, it just means they're not giving something.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times there's people who would like more, but they're not giving anything.
Yeah.
So they're like my poor dad. You know, he belonged to the labor unions, and he wanted to work less and get paid more. Well, that's anti-religious to me.
Yeah.
If you want to get paid more, work more, give more. That's how I see it. You know, my first investment was a little $18,000 condo in Hawaii, and I made a whopping $25 a month. I didn't make much money on that deal, but every time I did an investment, be it real estate or business, I got smarter because experience makes you smarter. So I started with just a little $18,000 unit. I broke out my credit card. I paid the $2,000 down payment with my credit card, so it was 100% finance. Now, most experts will say you, that's stupid. You don't do that. But if you know what you're doing, you can do it. A number of years ago, I bought a $7 million commercial building. I paid for it with zero down. And every month, after everything is paid for, it puts about $30,000 a month income in my pocket, or $360,000 a year for no money down. So that is the price of having a good education or a bad education. A good education is knowing the good debt versus bad debt and how debtors can win if you know what you're doing.
One of the things you say is that the poor pay their bills first, the rich pay themselves first.
That's a really tough one, but it makes people kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because the richest man in Babylon says pay yourself first. But what most people do is they pay their bills first and they never pay themselves anything. And that's a discipline I had to get into, was I always pay myself first, even when I had no money. And when I have all these bill collectors calling me, I use them as inspiration. You know what I mean?
Really?
Oh, when they're hounding, the government's hounding you, bill collectors calling, because I've been broke, so I can understand what it feels like to be broke. When those guys are calling you, instead of shrinking and going into the shell and eating my pizza,
Yeah.
I use it as motivation to go out and make more money. So I use my bill collectors as motivation, and that's why I paid myself first, even though sometimes I
What would
wasn't
you
paying
pay
it.
yourself?
I always bought assets. I'd buy a house or I'd put money in the bank and things like this. But it was just a habit. Exactly what you're talking about. It's up here.
It's about changing the way you think.
You see,
That's what the whole book is about.
That's it. Because we're our biggest asset. We're also our biggest liability.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
I know. I read that.
So if you're going to say work hard, most people are working hard for earned income, and that's what these guys are working for. The trouble with earned income in America, your tax rate's approximately 50%. Whereas Warren Buffett says it's a shame that his secretary pays a higher percentage in taxes than he did, although he makes billions of dollars. So when you say to a child, go to school and get a safe, secure job, you tell them to work for earned income, the worst type of income. The second type of income is portfolio income. And today, as I speak, and they're trying to change this, it's about 20%. And portfolio income is generally known as capital gain. So if I buy a stock for $10 and I sell it for $50, the $40 gain is taxed at 20%. Or if I buy a house for $100,000 and I sell it for $200,000, that's a capital gains type event. So you pay a lot of tax for that. And the third type of income, which is the best type of income, excuse me, I can't spell again, is passive income. And this is income that just comes in on a regular basis. One of the reasons I am wealthy and is able to retire at a young age is because I worked hard for passive income, not earned income. I don't flip real estate generally, not portfolio income. I don't flip stocks. I want passive income. So today, the new rules of money, it's important to understand what are you going to school to become, ES, entrepreneur or investor, and what kind of income you're working hard for, earned, portfolio, or passive. And if you know what you're doing, you can pay 0% taxes legally. And this can be done all over the world. People say, I can't do it in my country. Well, these people can't do it in any country, but in most parts of the world, governments need these people. So they're always giving tax incentives for investors and business owners who work for passive income. So those are some of the new rules of money. You've really got to know what you're working hard at and what kind of work are you performing, what kind of income are you working hard for.
Thank you for watching this incredible video from Robert Kiyosaki. I now have a special announcement to make. You're about to discover 7 ways to create a sustainable, passive income for life so that you can work less, earn more, and finally escape the rat race. Introducing the Rich Dad Summit at www.richdad-summit.com. You're about to be given the tools, strategies, tips, and blueprints you need for making more money and setting up systems that let your money make more money. And the great news is that you can have full online access to this incredible life-changing event for just $1. So simply follow the link below, www.richdad-summit.com, for full access. I highly recommend this system.